First of all, I would like to thanks to the grace of heaven, the virtue of our holy teachers, and the mercy of 老前人 and 前人, and Tao transmitting masters, and all of you to give me this opportunity to share the Great Learning Four with you. The book, The Great Learning, teaches people how to achieve greatness. It begins by outlining three guiding principles: manifest innate virtue, renewed people, and attain supreme good. On the right side, you will find the 8 steps of learning. We haven't talked about these in our previous lectures, but today we will dive into them. To fully grasp these principles, we must start by understanding our true nature. Everyone possesses a true nature, which originates from heaven and is a gift from God. From the true nature arises innate virtue, which is bright and beautiful. The first principle is to manifest or show our innate virtue. Once we are doing this, we should also help others manifest their innate virtues as well. This is the second principle, renewing people. If we succeed in manifesting our own virtues and renewing others, we will ultimately attain supreme good, the third and the last principle. The opening sentence of the Great Learning can be translated as, the way of the Great Learning lies in manifesting innate virtue, renewing people, and attaining supreme good. The following green table contains the modified version of the text from the Holy Interpretation of the Great Learning. Feel free to use it as a reference. Next, we will quickly review the second topic in the classic text of the Great Learning, which follows the 3 guiding principles: the way to achieve the goal, or how to achieve goal. In this classic text, 6 stages or conditions are outlined. Know the goal, settle mind, be tranquil, be content, be deliberate, achieve the goal. We can see that settledness and tranquility refers to the state of our mind before something happens. There's a saying, when things come, respond with true nature. When things go, return to tranquility in true nature. This is about how we should prepare our mindset before something happens. When something happens, we must maintain inner peace, which is being content with whatever comes. Only by doing so can our mind remain calm and peace, allowing us to think clearly and know how to respond appropriately. Deliberation refers to keeping a clear head and precise thinking while handling matters. And after the matter is resolved, we check whether we have handled it well. If we did well, that's attainment. If not, that's loss. Settledness, tranquility, contentment, deliberation, and attainment describes a complete process of how we face and handle situations appropriately. Again, when things come, respond with true nature. When things go, return to tranquility in true nature. So how can we achieve tranquility? The key lies in finding our true nature, which is the only way to attain supreme good. Here is a short story. Impulse is the devil. A man once bought a priceless purple clay pot and put it at the bedside every night. One night, he accidentally knocked the lid of the pot to the ground. After waking up in shock, he was so angry. What's the use of keeping the pot when its lid is gone? So he grabbed the pot and threw it out of the window. In the morning, the lid of the pot was found on his cotton shoes without any damage. He crushed the lid by foot, repentfully as the pot was gone. He went out. He saw the pot which was thrown out last night intact, hung on a tree branch. Sometimes things can wait. Take a look and slow down. Many things are not what you think. Learn to be calm is also a kind of wisdom. Time is a good thing. It verifies the human heart, witnesses the human nature, and tells the true and the false. Impulse is the devil. Here is a classic text from the Great Learning. Only after knowing the goal can one's mind be settled. Means that when our objectives are clear, our minds won't be chaotic and can be settled. Only after being settled can one be tranquil. Means that when our minds are settled, we can find our inner peace. Only after being tranquil can one be content. Means that when our minds are tranquil, we can feel at ease and happy. Only after being content can one be deliberate. Means that when we are content, our thoughts will become clear. Only after being deliberate can one achieve the goal. Means that with clear thoughts, we are more likely to succeed in our actions. Here we will quickly review the third topic, the order and the importance of the thing. Everything has its root and branches. Root and branches in original text in Chinese, it is called 本 and 末. The first character 本 carries meanings such as root, origin, source, basis, or foundation. It represents the starting point or the core from which all things grow, and it is root here. The second character 末 refers to the final, last, or end, and can even mean something insignificant. Essentially, it represents the outward developments or the extension of the root, and it is called branches here. In Chinese culture, there's a deep understanding of the relationship between the root, 本, and the branches, 末. The concept helps us prioritize and understand the importance of the different aspects of life and tasks. The root represents the foundation, the starting point, or the core of something. In many ways, it is the most important part because without a strong root, the branches, the outward developments or extensions, would wither and die. On the other hand, the branches refer to the less essential, secondary aspect of something. They are the outgrowths, the extension of the root. While they are important, they are not as crucial as the root itself. Sometimes, the branches can even represent trivial or insignificant things, and they are optional. Now let's apply this concept to our lives. It is important to identify what is the root and what are the branches. What is the most important thing that needs to be done first? And what are the less important things that can be done later or even left undone? For example, let's check the first two guiding principles, manifesting virtues and renewing people. Both are important, but which one is the root and which one is the branch? Manifesting our innate virtue or cultivating our innate virtue should be the foundation of our life and cultivation. It is the root from which all good virtue and actions grow. Without it, our efforts to renew people or introduce style to others would be hollow and unsustainable. Renewing people, although very important, is the branch compared to manifesting virtue. It is an outward expression of our inner cultivation, but it cannot truly exist without a strong foundation. However, this doesn't mean that we should focus solely on manifesting virtue and neglect renewing people. Both are necessary in our Tao cultivation. In conclusion, understanding the concept of root and branches helps us prioritize and focus on what is the most important in life. It guides us to cultivate our inner virtue first, and then share the Tao with others. By doing so, we can lead a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Here is a classic text of the topic, the root and its branches. Everything has its root and branches. Every affair has its end and its beginning. To know what is first and what is next will be getting close to the way of the Great Learning. This is the structure of the Great Learning. The first part is the classic text, which consists of 5 main topics. So far, we have already covered the first 3. First, 3 guiding principles. Second, the way of achieving. And third, the root and its branches. Today, we will focus on and complete the 4th and 5th topics. After the classic text, there are 10 chapters. The first 3 chapters explain the 3 guiding principles, 1 for each chapter. Chapter 4 discusses the root and its branches, while chapter 5 to 10 explores the 8 steps of learning in details. Now let's move on to the 4th topic, the 8 steps of learning. In the classic text, these steps are introduced in 2 ways, top-down and bottom-up. If we look at the top-down approach, the first and highest step is 明明德于天下. Here, 明明德 refers to the first guiding principle, manifesting our bright innate virtue. And 天下 here means the world. Together, this step means helping people in the world manifest their own innate virtue. This is the ultimate and final goal of the 8 steps of learning. The second step is 治国, and sometimes in Chinese we call 治国, which means governing a state well. The second step is 治国, and some pronounce 治国, which means governing a state well. The third step is 齐家, which means regulating a family well. The fourth step is 修身, which means cultivating oneself well. The fifth step is 正心, which means rectifying our mind, aligning our thoughts and intention with what is right. The sixth step is 诚意, which means making our thoughts sincere, ensuring our intentions are genuine and honest. The seventh step is 致知, which has 2 meanings. The first one, extending our knowledge, seeking to understand the truth of the world. The second one, awakening our conscience, connecting with our true nature. The 8th and final step is 格物, which also has 2 meanings. The first one, investigating things, deeply understanding the nature of the world. The second one, eradicating desires, letting go of selfish or harmful impulses and desires. These are the 8 steps of learning from the Great Learning, a powerful roadmap for personal growth, contributing to the world and ultimately becoming a useful and even great person. Let's take a closer look at the text. In ancient times, those who wanted to help people manifest their innate virtues started by governing their states well, ensuring prosperity and peace for everyone. This shows the natural order of the steps of learning, following a top-down approach. Starting with helping people manifest their innate virtue, the ultimate goal is for everyone to fully manifest their innate virtues. This is the ultimate stage of the 8 steps of learning and also the greatest aspiration of Confucius. This underscores the importance of personal cultivation and moral integrity to influence and improve society as a whole. A prime example of this is Confucius himself. Through his teachings and actions, Confucius spread core values such as benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and truthworthiness. His influence extended to countless disciples and future generations, profoundly shaping not only Chinese culture, but also the broader East Asian culture. Take a closer look. This step is about leading by example, using one's moral character to inspire and enlighten others, ultimately transforming society as a whole. For a ruler to inspire people to manifest their own innate virtues, he must first govern his state well. If he fails to do so, the people will neither trust nor follow him. Trust is the cornerstone of any successful governance. Without it, a ruler's effort to inspire virtue will likely fall short. Therefore, effective governance is not just about maintaining order, it is also about building a foundation of trust and respect that enables individuals to flourish both morally and ethically. Those who aspire to govern their own state well begin by regulating their families well, fostering care and harmony through virtue. These steps highlight the profound connection between personal virtue, family harmony, and effective governance. In other words, if you want to lead a country successfully, you first need to create a loving and peaceful home. A strong family built on kindness and good values is like a small version of a well-run country. Think about it. If you cannot manage your own household, how can you expect to manage something as vast and complex as a nation? The idea reminds us that leadership begins at home. When we cultivate virtues like compassion, respect, and responsibility within our families, we lay the ground for a righteous and harmonious society. Families grounded in these values become a solid foundation of what a well-governed state should look like. Moreover, the principle teaches us that a true leadership is not about power or control, but also setting an example through moral character. By fostering care and harmonies in our families, we can extend these qualities to our communities and ultimately to the world. So please remember, the journey to transforming society starts with ourselves and our homes. As we strive to building strong virtues, as we strive to building strong, virtuous family, we take the first step toward creating a better world for all of us. To those who aspire to regulate their families well, begin by cultivating themselves, eliminating negative temperaments and harmful habits. These steps emphasize that personal growth and self-cultivation are the foundation of a harmonious family and ultimately a well-ordered society. What does this mean? It means that if you want to create a happy, harmonious home, you must first work on yourself. You need to reflect on your own shortcomings, fix bad attitudes, and let go of unhealthy habits. Only by becoming a better person can you positively influence your family and guide them toward harmony and happiness. The idea reminds us that change starts from within. You cannot expect to lead or inspire others if you have not first addressed your own shortcomings. It is about taking responsibility for your actions and striving to embody the virtues you wish to see in others. Think of it as a ripple effect. When you improve yourself, you set an example for your family. Your growth inspires them to grow, and together you create a stronger, more loving household. This, in turn, becomes the foundation for broader societal change. In essence, this teaching is a call to action for each of us. It challenges us to look inward, to cultivate self, and to strive for moral excellence. By starting small, improving ourselves, then our families, we can eventually make a bigger impact and change to the world. So please remember, the journey to a better world begins with self-cultivation. As we work on ourselves, we take the first step toward building stronger families, stronger communities, and ultimately a better society. Those who aspire to cultivate themselves well begin by rectifying their minds, ensuring alignment with the path of the mean. These steps highlight the importance of a mental clarity, balance, and virtue as the foundation of personal growth and self-cultivation. What does this mean? It teaches us that true self-cultivation starts with getting your mind in the right place, free from distractions, extremes, and negative influences. The mean, or the doctrine of the mean, 中庸, refers to a state of balance and harmony, often associated with the Tao or the moral path. In practical terms, this means reflecting on your thoughts and ensuring they are guided by principles like integrity, compassion, and wisdom. It is about letting go of selfish desires, harmful emotions, and impulsive reactions. Only when your mind is clear and aligned with the Ming and Tao can you take meaningful steps toward personal growth. This idea reminds us that self-cultivation is not just about outward actions, but also about inner transformation. A virtuous mind leads to virtuous action, which in turn influence your character and relationships. It is a process of continuous reflection and adjustment, striving to maintain balance and harmony in all aspects of life. Think of it this way. Your mind is the compass that guides your journey. If it is aligned with the Ming and Dao, you will navigate life through wisdom and grace. But if it is clouded by extremes or distractions, you will lose your way. So please remember, the path to self-cultivation begins with rectifying the mind. By fostering mental clarity, balance, and virtue, we lay the groundwork for personal growth, harmonious relationships, and a meaningful life. Let's move to the next. Those who aspire to rectify their minds well began by making their thoughts sincere, free from absurd and rash ideas. These steps emphasize the importance of a mental sincerity and clarity as a foundation for a balanced and virtuous mind. What does this mean? In simpler terms, if you want to have a clear, balanced, and rectified mind, you need to be honest with yourself and avoid wild, impulsive thinking. Sincere thoughts means being true to what is right and reasonable, not letting emotions or irrational ideas take over. It is like cleaning up mental clutter so you can think clearly and make wise decisions. This teaching reminds us that our thoughts shape our actions and character. If our minds are filled with insincere, absurd, or rash ideas, it is basically impossible for us to act with integrity and wisdom. But when we cultivate sincerity in our thoughts, align them with truth and reason, we create a solid foundation for personal growth and moral living. Think of it this way. Your mind is like a garden. If you let weeds, wild emotions, impulsive ideas, or irrational thoughts take over, it becomes chaotic and unproductive. But if you tend to it carefully, removing the weeds and nurturing sincere, reasonable thoughts, it becomes a place of clarity and growth. In practical terms, this means practicing self-awareness and reflection. It means questioning your thoughts and ensuring they align with what is true and virtuous. It is about being honest with yourself, even when it is difficult, and striving to maintain mental discipline. So, please remember, the path to a rectified mind begins with sincere thoughts. By cultivating honesty, reason, and clarity in our thinking, we lay the groundwork for a balanced mind, virtuous action, and a meaningful life. Those who aspire to make their thoughts sincere begin by extending their knowledge and awakening their conscience. These steps highlight two essential aspects of self-cultivation. The first one, extending our knowledge, means expanding our understanding of the world and the timeless wisdom from ancient saints and sages. Second, awakening our conscience, listening to our inner moral compass, which originates from our true nature. Let's explore each of these in detail. Extending knowledge. The first meaning of 致知 is about extending our knowledge. This means that if we want to make ourselves sincere and align with truth, we must actively seek to learn more about the world around us. Knowledge is the foundation of wisdom, and without it, our thoughts and actions may be misguided by ignorance or misinformation. For example, understanding history, philosophy, and the natural world helps us make informed decisions and see the bigger picture. It allows us to recognize patterns, avoid past mistakes, and appreciate the interconnections of all things. When we expand our knowledge, we gain the tools to think critically and act responsibly. But this isn't just about academic learning. It is also about being curious and open minded. It is about asking questions, seeking diverse perspectives from various ancient classics and sutras, and constantly striving to grow. By doing so, we ensure that our thoughts are grounded in truth and reason, not in assumptions or biases. Awakening conscience. The second meaning of 致知 is about awakening our conscience. This refers to listening to our inner sense of right and wrong, which is often called our moral compass. It is about being guided by our true nature, our innate sense of justice, compassion, and integrity, rather than by selfish desires, external pressures, or temptations. Awakening our conscience requires self reflection and honesty. We must ask ourselves, are my thoughts and actions aligned with what I know to be right? Am I acting out of kindness and fairness, or am I being driven by greed, anger, and fear? By turning into our conscience, we can ensure that our thoughts are sincere and virtuous. This inner guidance is crucial because it helps us navigate complex situations where the right choice isn't always obvious. It reminds us to act with integrity even when no one is watching, and it gives us power to stand up for what is right even when it is difficult. When we combine these two aspects, extending our knowledge and awakening conscience, we create a powerful foundation for sincere thoughts and virtuous actions. Knowledge gives us the clarity to understand the world and the wisdom, while conscience gives us the moral direction to act with integrity. Together, they help us align ourselves with truth and goodness, enabling us to live meaningful lives. So please remember, the path to sincerity begins with learning and listening to the world around us and to the voice within. By extending our knowledge and awakening our conscience, we take the first step toward becoming a better individuals, building stronger communities, and creating a better world. Now let's take a look at the bottom-up approach to the 8 steps of learning. By investigating things, our knowledge is extended. By eliminating desires and awakening conscience, our thoughts become sincere. By making thoughts sincere, our minds are rectified. By rectifying our minds, we cultivate ourselves well. By cultivating ourselves well, our families are well regulated. By regulating our families well, the state is governed well. By governing the state well, we can help the people manifest their innate virtues, bringing peace to the world. In simpler terms, when leaders govern with kindness, honesty, and integrity. These qualities naturally inspire the people, creating a thriving and harmonious society. Moreover, when leaders focus on what is best for everyone, such as providing good education, fair laws, and opportunities, it encourages people to act with integrity and care for one another. The ripple effect of kindness can be extended beyond borders, helping to build a more peaceful and harmonious world. So, good governance isn't just about rules and politics. It is about creating the right conditions for people to grow morally and flourish. This, in turn, benefits everyone everywhere. Let me summarize. The fourth topic is the 8 steps of learning. If we take the bottom-up approach, as the foundation are the first 2 steps, 格物 and 致. 格物 means investigating things or eradicating desires, while 致知 means extending knowledge or awakening conscience. At the top is 天下平, which means bringing peace to the world. But behind this face, what Confucius and Zhengzi truly wanted to express was the idea of helping people manifest their own innate virtue, which is the second of the 3 guiding principles, renewing people. When everyone does this, the world becomes harmonious and peaceful. This is the ultimate goal of 礼运大同, the vision of a truly harmonious world. After studying the 8 steps of learning, some people might have questions. Here, I have listed 4 common ones, and I will try to answer them to help everyone understand better. First question, what is the true meaning of 格物 and 致知? You may notice for 格物, there are 2 interpretations. The first is investigate things, or more specifically, investigate the principles of things. The second is eradicate desires, or more precisely, eradicate selfish desires. The first interpretation comes from Zhu Xi, while the second is from Wang Yangming. Similarly, for 致知, there are 2 interpretations. The first is extend knowledge, or extend knowledge to the extreme, which is Zhu Xi's view. The second is awaken conscience, which is Wang Yangming's perspective. Why are these 2 different interpretations from these 2 prominent scholars? And which one is correct, or which one is better? This is the first question. The second question, as mentioned earlier, 格物 and 致知 are the foundation of the 8 steps of learning. But these 2 steps seem very difficult to achieve. It is not easy to extend our knowledge sometimes, let alone to the extreme. And when it comes to conscience, where is it? Does it even exist? How can we find it? How to awaken it? How can ordinary people practice and complete all these steps? This is the second question. The third question. The final 2 steps of the great learning are governing a country or bringing peace to the world. Since these seem like tasks for the leaders of the country, can ordinary people just skip or disregard these steps? The fourth question. Is this book written for ordinary people, or is it only meant for great persons like rulers and scholars? Question 1 is about 格物 and 致知. You might wonder why each of these steps has more than one meaning. I will explain this in detail when we dive into chapter 5 in the future. For now, Just remember these two meanings for each step. Question 2. The first two steps of the Great Learning, 格物 and 致知, seem very difficult to achieve. How can ordinary people practice and complete all these steps? If we look at the classic text of the 8 steps of learning from a bottom-up approach, it can be illustrated as a diagram, like the one shown on the screen. For example, by investigating things, step 1, our knowledge is extended, step 2. By making our thoughts sincere, step 3. Our minds are rectified, step 4. By rectifying our minds, step 4, we cultivate ourselves well, step 5. But let's go back to the first two steps, 格物 and 致知. These steps can indeed seem challenging. For instance, investigating things or extending knowledge to the extreme sounds like a huge task. And when it comes to awakening conscience, where do we even start? So, does the 8 steps of learning still make sense to ordinary people? The answer is yes. If we illustrate the 8 steps of learning according to the classic text from a bottom-up approach, you might think it looks like the diagram on the left. But in fact, the diagram on the right is the correct one. According to the text, by investigating things, our knowledge is extended. However, this doesn't mean we have to investigate all things or extend our knowledge to the extreme before moving on to the third step or beyond. Instead, it is a gradual process. When we investigate one thing, one piece of knowledge is extended. Similarly, when we talk about eradicating desires, it doesn't mean we have to eliminate all desires at once. It is about making progress step by step, as shown in the diagram on the right. Each of these 8 steps of learning is a lifelong effort. As long as we keep learning, investigating, and reflecting, our knowledge will grow day by day, and our selfish desires will lessen over time. Gradually, we will move closer to fully awakening our conscience. This process is like climbing a mountain. We don't reach the top in one giant leap. We take one step at a time. As long as we keep investigating things, learning wisdom from ancient sages, and applying it to our lives, we will keep improving. Look at the diagram on the right. Right now, our level of cultivation might still be on the left of point A, meaning we have reached less than 10%. But as long as we keep investigating things, eradicating selfish desires, extending our knowledge, and awakening our conscience, we will get better and better. Over time, we will pass point A, then point B, and eventually reach even higher levels, more than 20% or beyond. Again, while these steps may seem huge and difficult at first, they are not meant to be achieved overnight. Instead, they are a lifelong journey of growth and self-cultivation. For example, investigating things can start with simple curiosity, like studying the scripture of ancient sages and learning from their timeless wisdom. Ask questions like, how can I learn from their teachings? How can I apply these lessons to my life? This process helps us uncover deeper truths and principles that guide our actions. Eradicating selfish desires. As we learn more, we begin to understand that many things in the world are fleeting and temporary. Material possessions, status, or even certain relationships. By reflecting on this, we can gradually let go of selfish desires and focus on what is true and everlasting, such as kindness, integrity, and inner peace. Extending knowledge isn't just about reading books or memorizing facts. It is about seeking wisdom, whether through conversations with others, reflecting on our own experiences, or learning from the success and failure of those around us. Every piece of knowledge we gain helps us make better decisions and live more meaningful lives. Awakening conscience can begin with small, everyday actions. For example, showing kindness to a stranger, being honest even when it is difficult, or taking the moment to reflect on whether our action align with Tao. Over time, these small steps help us awakening our conscience more and more. By practicing these steps consistently, we not only improve ourselves, but also create a positive influence and even ripple effect in the world around us. The key is to take it step by step, focusing on progress rather than perfection. Over time, these practices can transform not only ourselves, but also the world around us. So please remember, the 8 steps of learning are not just for scholars or leaders, they are for everyone. Whether you are a student, a parent, a teacher, or a professional, these steps offer a roadmap for personal growth and contributing to a better world. Question 3. The final 2 steps of the Great Learning are governing a country and bringing peace to the world. Since these seem like tasks for leaders, can ordinary people just skip or disregard these chapters? Before answering this question, let me share a few lines from chapter 9 of the Great Learning. A virtuous ruler can request others to do good only after he has demonstrated, and he can forbid wrongdoing only after he has refrained from it. This passage reminds us that leadership begins with personal example. A ruler, or anyone in a position of influence, must first embody the virtues they wish to see in others. The principle isn't just for leaders, it applies to everyone. Even if we are not governing a country, we can still practice these steps in our own lives. For example, governing a country can start with governing ourselves, managing our time, emotions, and action wisely. Bringing peace to the world can begin with creating harmony in our families, workplaces, and communities. These steps may seem grand, but they are built on the same foundation as the earlier steps: making thoughts sincere, rectifying mind, self-cultivation, sincerity, and more importantly, leading by example. Here is one more passage from chapter 10 of the Great Learning. Whatever wrong you hate in the treatment of your superiors, do not impose it upon your inferiors. Whatever wrong you hate in the treatment of your inferiors, do not inflict it upon your superiors. This passage teaches us the importance of empathy and fairness in all relationships. It is a reminder that the way we treat others, whether they are above or below us in the status, should reflect the same principles of respect and kindness. Now, how does this connect to the final two steps of the Great Learning? While governing a country and bringing peace to the world may seem like tasks for leaders, the principles behind them are universal. The passage from chapter 10 reinforces this idea. It shows that leadership isn't just about authority or power. It is about setting an example and treating others the way we want to be treated. This principle applies to everyone, not just rulers or leaders. By practicing fairness, empathy, and self-governance in our daily lives, we are already contributing to a greater good. So, for president or prime minister of a country, governors, mayors, or leaders in business like CEO, CFO, directors, managers, or even leaders of small groups and senior members in organizations, the teachings from the Great Learning about governing a country and bringing peace to the world absolutely apply to them. As you can see from the two paragraphs I just shared, one from chapter 9 and another from chapter 10, these principles are universal. They emphasize leading by example, fairness, and empathy, which are essential for anyone in the position of influence. But here is the key. These teachings are not just for leaders. They also apply to ordinary people. Whether you are a parent, a teacher, a team member, or simply someone trying to live a meaningful life, the principles of the Great Learning can guide you. For example, leading by example means showing integrity and kindness in our daily actions. Practicing fairness means treating others the way you want to be treated, regardless of their status. Creating harmony means resolving conflicts and building positive relationships in your family, workplace, and community. By governing the state well, we can create an environment where people can manifest their innate virtues, ultimately bringing peace to the world. And don't forget the deeper meaning behind Confucius and Zhengzi's vision of bringing peace to the world. What they truly wished for was to help every individual manifest their own innate virtue. In the end, this would lead to a world where everyone could become a saint or sage, living with wisdom, kindness, and integrity. So the answer to question 3 is a clear yes. While these final two steps may seem aimed at leaders, their lessons are deeply relevant to everyone. Again, by applying these principles, whether in our families, workplaces, or communities, we create a harmonious environment and contribute to a better world. It all starts with ourselves and extends to the people around us. The last question: is this book written for common people or for great personage only? After answering question 2 and 3, it becomes clear that this book is meant for everyone. So here is the 8 steps of learning in the classic text of the Great Learning. In ancient times, those who aspire to help people manifest their innate virtues began by governing their states well, ensuring prosperity and peace. Those who aspire to govern their own states well began by regulating their families well, fostering care and harmony through virtue. Those who aspire to regulate their families well began by cultivating themselves, eliminating negative temperaments and harmful habits. Those who aspire to cultivate themselves well began by rectifying their minds, ensuring alignment with the path of the mean. Those who aspire to rectify their minds well began by making their thoughts sincere, free from absurd and rash ideas. Those who aspire to make their thoughts sincere began by extending their knowledge and awakening their conscience. The key to extending knowledge and awakening conscience lies in investigating things and eliminating desires. By investigating things, our knowledge is extended. By eliminating desire and awakening conscience, our thoughts become sincere. By making thoughts sincere, our minds are rectified. By rectifying our minds, we cultivate ourselves well. By cultivating ourselves well, our families are well regulated. By regulating our family well, the state is well governed. By governing the state well, we can help the people manifest their innate virtues, bringing peace to the world. Let's move on to the fifth and final topic in the classic text of the Great Learning. From the king down to the common people, self-cultivation is the foundation of everything. If the root, cultivating oneself, is in disorder, the branches, regulating the family and governing the country, cannot be in order. This teaching reminds us that no matter who we are, whether a leader or an ordinary citizen, our ability to contribute positively to the world begins with self-cultivation. Just as a tree cannot thrive if its roots are weak, a society cannot flourish if its individuals lack moral grounding. Let's break this down further. Self-cultivation is about developing virtues like benevolence, righteousness, honesty, compassion, discipline, and wisdom. It is about reflecting on our mistakes and striving to become better versions of ourselves. When we focus on improving our own character, we create a ripple effect that extends to our family, community, and beyond. For example, imagine a leader who lacks self-discipline and integrity. How can such a person inspire trust or make fair decisions for their people? Similarly, if individuals within a family are selfish or irresponsible, how can that family function harmoniously? The answer is clear. Without a strong foundation of personal virtue, larger system, whether family, organization, or nation, will inevitably struggle. This teaching also highlights the interconnections of all levels of society. A well-governed country depends on well-regulated families, and well-regulated family depends on individuals who have cultivated themselves. It is a chain of influence that starts with the individual and expands outward. But self-cultivation is not just a responsibility, it is an opportunity. By working on ourselves, we not only improve our own lives, but also contribute to the society and country. Every action of kindness, every moment of self-reflection, and every effort to grow adds to the collective well-being of society. So please remember, The path to a better world begins with self-cultivation. Whether we are leaders or ordinary citizens, we all have the power and the responsibility to strengthen our roots. By doing so, we ensure that the branches of our families, communities, and nations can grow strong and thrive. This modified text is from the Holy Interpretation of the Great Learning. It is important to know that there are some differences between this version and the one we previously studied. From the king down to the common people, cherishing family is the foundation of everything. If the root, cherishing family, is in disorder, the branches, renewing people and attaining supreme good, cannot be in order. At first glance, this teaching may seem similar to the earlier one, which emphasized self-cultivation as the root. However, here is the key differences. Here, the focus shifts to the family as the foundation of all endeavors. While self-cultivation is about personal growth, cherishing family is about nurturing relationships and creating a harmonious home. Both are essential, but they represent different starting points in the journey toward a well-ordered society. Why is family so important? Because it is the first and most fundamental unit of society. A family rooted in love, respect, and care is the foundation of a thriving community or nation. When we cherish our families, honoring our parents, supporting our siblings, and fostering mutual care, we cultivate virtues like empathy, responsibility, and loyalty. These virtues, in turn, prepare us to contribute positively to the broader world. However, if the family is in disorder, marked by conflict, neglect, or selfishness, it becomes difficult to achieve larger goals like renewing the people or attaining the supreme good. A fractured family cannot inspire its members to act with integrity or serve others selflessly. This teaching reminds us that while self-cultivation is vital, it must be complemented by strong family bonds. Together, they form a dual foundation. Self-cultivation shapes the individual, and cherishing family shapes the relationships that connect us to others. Both are necessary for creating a harmonious and flourishing society. So please remember, whether we focus on self-cultivation or cherishing family, the message is clear. Strong roots are essential for healthy branches. By nurturing ourselves and our families, we lay the groundwork for a better world. It has never been the case that what is important is treated as trivial, and what is trivial is treated as important. When we connect this to the previous sentence, it becomes even more profound. It has never been the case that what is important, such as self-cultivation, is treated as trivial, and what is trivial, such as regulating the family well and governing the state, is treated as important. This statement serves as a powerful reminder of priorities. It teaches us that success in life, whether as an individual, as a family, or as a society, depends on recognizing and valuing what really matters. Self-cultivation, the foundation of all endeavors, must never be neglected or treated lightly. It is the root from which everything else grows. At the same time, This teaching warned us against misplaced priorities. If we focus on superficial or secondary goals, like chasing power, wealth, or status, while ignoring the essentials, such as personal growth and family harmony, we are destined to fail. A tree cannot thrive if its roots are weak, no matter how impressive its branches may appear. This principle is especially relevant in today's fast-paced world, where it is easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We might get caught up in external achievements, building careers, accumulating possessions, or gaining influence, while neglecting the inner work of self-improvement and the relational work of nurturing our families. But the Great Learning reminds us that true success comes from aligning our priorities with timeless value and wisdom. By focusing on self-cultivation and cherishing our families, we create a solid foundation for all other achievements. Only then can we hope to regulate our families well, govern our states well, and contribute meaningful to the world. So please remember, what is important must never be treated as trivial, and what is trivial must never take precedence over what is important. By keeping our priorities straight, we can build lives of purpose, harmony, and lasting impact. So I will end my speech here. For any mistake, I apologize to God and Buddhas, and your suggestions are welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you.